Good morning, football fans, and welcome to another episode of Everything Football. I'm your host, Giovanni Witter, and today, as we all know, we will be discussing how the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl today, and Patrick Mahomes got his not one, two, but third Super Bowl championship. Today, this episode is going to be also really special because not only will I be discussing the Super Bowl by myself, but I have some very special guests with me today. All right. So, my first guest of today is going to be my good friend and college teammate, Jaden Manley.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jaden Manley. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. As Gio said, we are good friends. We play together as well. So, ready to talk about this Super Bowl, man.
Yes, sir. And not only do I have Jaden Manley with me, but I also have another teammate, Edwin Reed.
Yo, what's going on, man? Edwin Reed, down here in South Florida. I'm just grateful, my boy Gio let me on here. We gonna have a good time. We'll talk some good football, good vibes.
So. Yes, sir. All righty. And last but not least is my good friend and also personal trainer, Christian Gomez.
Hey everybody, Christian Gomez here. Jay, thank you for having me on. Looking forward to talking about the Super Bowl with all you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as me and Ed knew, we were going for the Chiefs, and we knew you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, man. That was just a game for the ages. If you're not a football fan, I saw a lot of people were saying the Super Bowl was kind of boring or whatever, but man, football is played on offense and defense. You can't have people out there scoring 50 points a game. It wouldn't be football, But I want to ask Christian a question. I know you were going for the 49ers, man. How do you feel with the result? How do you feel the game went?
As long as it's not a blowout, that's all that matters, man. That game, it could have gone anywhere. One blown assignment, one missed opportunity, one great opportunity for a guy that wasn't even a part of the team in the beginning of the year. But overall, it was a great game. I can respect that loss. I really can.
Yes, sir. How do you feel about it, Jaden?
Yeah, man. Like Christian said, it was a good game. As long as it was a good game, this is not my team or anything, but the 49ers, I was rooting for them heavily. Okay. I thought they could definitely get them, but it wasn't no blowout. Like you said, it was football. So
yeah. So we're gonna be diving into some film, breaking down the game. But before we do that, I'm actually gonna show you guys some stats from the game last night. We're gonna show team stats and then individual player stats, and just discuss how the game was won or lost numbers wise. Right. So, as you guys should be able to see on your screen, we got the full box score. Let's go into individual stats first and foremost. All right. So, one of the most important battles in the game, and that was talked about for weeks and weeks to come, would be the quarterback battle. All right. As you guys can see, the GOAT, the young GOAT, greatest quarterback in the NFL currently won that battle. Patrick Mahomes was amazing last night. He could have even had a better game if you asked me. But as in the Super Bowl, biggest game of his career, he went 34 of 46, 333 passing yards,
man,
2 touchdowns, 1 interception with a rating of 99. And that number 333, I actually heard him on the stream last night. The address for the Super Bowl is 333. So,
yeah, it's Al Davis.
I mean,
scripted.
He got 333 yards and won his third Super Bowl. I mean, that's just amazing right there, man.
I mean, you can't even, like, the category that Patrick Mahomes is in now, like, you can't compare quarterbacks anymore. Like, you got Patrick Mahomes, then you got everybody else.
That's true.
Just that.
That's true. Especially coming from, everyone knows I'm a big Ravens fan. big Lamar guy. Lamar's the MVP. He's on the rise, but definitely there is a big gap between Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Another guy who some consider elite. I do consider Brock Purdy to be elite. Um, some consider him a game manager. I feel like you can still be elite and a game manager.
Yes. It's okay to be a game manager.
Yep.
Nah,
Yeah,
truthfully,
sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need when you got a defense like them. That's all you need.
shoot, their
Exactly.
defense is ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. They did
I
their best for real. Like,
You're talking about their defense. Look at their offense. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, and Brandon Ayuk. Come
Man,
on.
Jawan Jennings
You know the
yesterday, man,
Kansas City
stepped up.
Chiefs defense is struggling.
Yep, but that's why, he's elite. He's a game manager, but that's why I rather have game changers on my team. As you can see, Patrick Mahomes, man, those last two drives, the one to keep them in the game on in the fourth quarter and the last one to win the Super Bowl, that's what a game changer is. Purdy, he did his thing. He took his team down, but he wasn't able to punch it in. He ended up kicking field goals.
Yeah,
And
that's real good.
as we can see, the game ended in a 3-point game. So, but let's just talk about Purdy's stats from last night. Wasn't bad at all. He was 23 of 38, threw for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 89.3. What do you guys think about that performance?
I mean, he played like he played all season. I mean, when they needed him, he came up big. During the overtime, they get the ball, they drive down the field, they ended up getting a field goal. I mean, he played a great game, perfect game, no interceptions. It's just you got to play even perfecter. You want to beat Patrick Mahomes. You're giving him too much leeway. I feel like there were a couple of passes that he missed. He missed a couple to Kittle, and then also one to Ayuk. But other than that, man, he played a perfect game.
man, yeah, he's a good quarterback. To be Mr. Irrelevant in the draft and then go his first year to the NFC Championship and then to just come back and go all the way to the Super Bowl. I think he did a good job. Like he said, he missed a couple passes, especially a wide open one to Debo. Now we know his hamstring was a little messed up, but those are passes that could have changed the game. So, but he did good though. As a young quarterback.
Hey, I mean, when it comes to Brock Purdy, I mean, there's not much that you ask of him. Just get the ball, give it to your playmakers. 49ers did a good job of surrounding him with playmakers, and Brock Purdy does a great job of getting it to them. And, that's been their key of winning all season. And when it comes to the Super Bowl, they didn't stray from that, with the exception of not getting the ball to George Kittle. But, when they tried getting it to him, they had that one big play in the beginning of the game, but it was flagged on him. So it brought it back. That's an excellent opportunity to drive the ball down instead of finishing it on a punt. But in terms of Brock Purdy, I mean, he did a good job. No interceptions, like you said. I don't think he had a single fumble all night. And then on top of that, I mean, he had a near 70% QBR. So,
Man,
it's not much that you can ask from him in that case. It comes down to the defense.
And that's so true. Purdy, he played good, but like we said, to beat Patrick Mahomes, you have to play out of your mind. And one stat that I'm currently reading right now, and as a Ravens fan, has me a little sad. But man, Patrick Mahomes led the Chiefs last night in rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes, 9 carries for 66 yards, averaging 7 yards a carry.
And
you want to
the
get the
thing
job
is, it's
done.
like, yeah, they said, I think throughout the playoffs, his legs was going to have to be the reason why they win games. And him being able to pass and throw the way, run the way he do, it definitely changed the game for them. It was, I mean, he still threw over 300 yards too. Crazy.
And they tried to control that during the beginning. The beginning of the game, they did a great job. Like Bosa, Chase Young, they did a great job of just playing their role. You could tell that the 49ers, they came in, a scouting report and whatnot, and that was their main goal. Don't let him outside of the pocket. And just as the game went on, it just creases. Just I don't know if they were tired or what. Creases just opened up, and he was just, hey, you want to do it, you got to do it yourself, and he was doing a great job of that.
I got to give credit where credit's due. Pat Mahomes, during the season, like he likes to preserve himself, throw the ball more, but when it comes to the playoffs, he does open up with his legs and he likes to take off. You got to give Andy Reid some credit too. The Chiefs went in there with two backup offensive tackles on both sides, going up against arguably one of the top pass rushing groups in the entire NFL. I mean, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, that's pretty hard to get past. Andy Reid coming in there with that RPO option with the run game with Pat Mahomes, that was pretty smart. You isolate Nick Bosa on the edge, you make him decide which one he wants to take. Does he want to cover the pass or does he want to play the quarterback? He decided to take the pass off of Kelsey, and Mahomes takes off with the ball. That's very smart. Great playmaking ability. So overall, I mean, it shows in the stats. He was smart with his decision. He took the ball, ran with it, and got the yards that they needed to win the game.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, real quick, another thing, like if y'all look at the receiving yards, we can see that, Christian McCaffrey as a running back was the leading receiver for San Fran. But if you look at Kansas City, like he utilized everybody. Everybody got like a good amount of receptions. I mean, they top receiver and they running back got the same amount. Pacheco and Rice, I mean, 6 receptions. And then you see George Kittle, he only had 2. So I think that was low-key a big game changer, knowing that, San Fran really utilizes Kittle too. So, it was just like without him, I feel like they couldn't make enough plays. I feel like they wasn't as aggressive,
I want to just highlight this right here. 10 targets. These are the 2 best tight ends in the league, quote unquote, besides Mark Andrews out of the Baltimore, who's a little banged up.
Yeah.
For 2 generational tight ends who will most likely end up in the Hall of Fame on the biggest game, the Chiefs know what to do. Even with Travis Kelce acting a fool, screaming in the coach's face, that's your best tight end. You got to get him the ball. He got 10 targets, 9 receptions, 93 yards. That is production right there.
Man.
Kittle only got targeted 3 times.
3 times, and he only 3 times though. And he scored. And when he gets the ball, he makes things happen. You got to give him the ball more.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
2 catches, 4 yards.
Hey, I mean, when you look at the past Super Bowl winners, they all have great tight ends. I mean, even when Tom Brady was making his runs in the Super Bowl, he always had Rob Gronkowski with him. And then you got Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And then even the San Francisco 49ers, as bad as it gets, I wouldn't even say it's a bad game, but I mean, George Kittle is still a great tight end. You look at Lamar Jackson, he has Mark Andrews, and you can even say Isaiah Likely was even a good tight end at times. And then look at the Detroit Lions with Sam Laporta. Having that excellent tight end in your offense really opens it up and makes the defense have to decide, we got to cover a receiver or a tight end. So
I like that. Now I have a question for you, Christian. I don't know, just based off of a lot of talks that was going on before the season, a lot of NFL running backs are feeling like they are kind of underpaid, overlooked. Like the running back position is kind of getting like overlooked. A lot of teams don't value the running back as much. And this game actually is kind of bad for the running backs. And I say that because we're going to look at it like this. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL currently, right? He's a dual threat running back, meaning he can get it done in the rushing game and in the receiving game. Christian McCaffrey had 30 touches, 22 carries, 8 reception. He had 80 yards rushing, 80 yards in the passing game, combined for 160 yards. So with 30 touches, 160 yards, and 1 touchdown, it still wasn't enough for his team to get over that. I mean, if you look at it, McCaffrey basically had almost a perfect game besides the fumble that he did lose. But yeah, man, a running back getting 30 touches, 160 yards, and a touchdown, and his team still doesn't win the game. How do you guys think this will affect the running back position in years to come?
I mean, I wouldn't use this game as an indicator for that. I mean, like you said, Christian McCaffrey still had a very good game, 160 total yards in one game. That's outstanding. I mean, just look at Pacheco. Pacheco even ran for about 60 yards. And then according to this, he also caught 6 receptions for 33 yards. He's damn near pushing 100 yards himself. So you really can't say that you can't use this game as an indicator if running backs being taken lightly. The problem with the running back position is that it's a young man's position. A lot of guys, when they get to that old age, it starts to affect them. Players are hitting harder now than they did before. They're taking bigger, stronger hits from bigger, stronger players. So, you look at a guy like, what's his face? Saquon Barkley, who, he had a good year, but he's riddled with injuries. He's a really good running back. I like Saquon, but he gets injured a lot. So, that's the problem. You're starting to see a lot of younger running backs come in. They get that first contract, and the problem is securing that second contract because they know that they're only going to get about a year or two left out of their running back. So NFL teams, they don't want to pay that player more money just for him not to play because he gets hurt later on.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that because even with the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, I think they gave him like a franchise tag, and now it's just like he didn't really have the best season that he could have had, because the year before I think he was the running back champion, but now he wasn't producing as much, like Christian said, injuries. So going in 300-pound linemen going between them, like that takes a toll on your body. You seen Christian McCaffrey's arms? That boy's arms was marked up.
Man.
Like, I mean, all of them was marked up, but he was tired. He had a couple plays where he had to come out. So it's just like it's a very tricky subject that you can get on.
I mean, he played a great game. Like
He did.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, if the 49ers stick to how they played the game in the beginning, run the ball, how they ran the ball, he should have way more than 22 carries. He should have about 30 carries. It's the Super Bowl. Like, they shy away from running the ball. They're throwing the ball too much. They need to stick to just what they did all season. And then as far as just running backs, this game, I mean, I wouldn't use this game. If anything, use this game to just tell how versatile these running backs are nowadays. I mean, he's leading his team in receiving and rushing yards. Back in the day, you wouldn't even see that. So it's a tricky situation.
That's true. Tony Romo was saying all game. He was just saying like, run the ball. That was the way that they was really
run the ball, run the damn
success,
ball.
and they just was trying to pass. I think they went 4-and-out pass plays or 3-and-out pass plays. Like, come on now.
You gotta stick to what you do best.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into our video discussion, just want to dive into a little bit of the team stats. So as we can see right here, total yards. Chiefs had 455 total yards to San Fran's 382. Both teams had 2 turnovers each, so no one won the turnover battle. And the Chiefs actually had 1 more first down than the 49ers. So, I mean, this game was pretty even almost all the way. As you can see, time of possession, 49ers had the ball for 38 minutes and Chiefs had it for 36 minutes. So this game was very even the entire time. First down stats right there, Chiefs 24-23. The Chiefs ran more plays. Even though they had the ball less, they ran more plays. That shows you how quick and fast their offense is. Both teams, the same amount of drives, 13 drives. Passing yards as a team stat, the Chiefs had a 325 passing to the 49ers, 272 passing. Patrick Mahomes had 333, but you have to minus the sack yardage. Rushing, the Chiefs actually edged out the 49ers. Chiefs had 130 rushing yards to 110 for the 49ers. Wow. Now this stat right here is very interesting. The Chiefs were in the red zone 6 times and only came away with points twice. Man. But it's still more than the 49ers who were only in the red zone 2 times and came away with points once. Penalties were pretty much even. This is a big thing. Everyone knows, or everyone is saying that the refs are usually on the Chiefs side. This game, of course, if you play football, every game there's going to be missed calls.
Every
All
missed
right.
call.
There were
Hard.
still missed calls last night, if you ask me. There were a few missed calls out there. But the penalties, it was pretty even, 6 each, 40 yards on the 49ers and 55 yards on the Chiefs. So what do you guys think about the stats?
Like, one thing I want to point out too, like one thing you don't see in the stats is the high level of special teams that we saw last night. Because you have offense, you have defense, but like in order to win, you have to have great special teams. Like you saw the 49ers, you saw Conley made probably about 4 tackles playing against his former team. On the special teams, they had a couple punts that were down on the 15-10. Like, the Chiefs couldn't get good field position in the beginning. You had the Chiefs field goal kicker, 57 yards, longest field goal kick in Super Bowl history. And then you had the muff pump that hit the San Francisco's offensive player's foot that transpired to Kansas City scoring. So it was just high level football everywhere yesterday.
I agree.
The turnovers, the fumble was definitely costly by Pacheco in the beginning. McCaffrey's was, but the special teams played a key big factor into Kansas City winning, especially with the blocked field goal that had Kansas City only down by 3 because they were supposed to be down by 4. So it was a great game.
I'm kind of glad that you said that, Ed. I was thinking about that. That's like the one thing on the stat line that you don't see is all that special team stuff. I don't think people understand how important special teams is. I mean, there's 3 phases of the game. There's offense, defense, and special teams. And last night, special teams definitely showed out, and that was a deciding factor. That block PAT, like you said, making the difference between a 3-point and a 4-point game. That's the difference between them tying it or them going for it again on down in the red zone and probably not making it. Because like you said earlier, Jay, two out of 6 times in the red zone that they scored, that's a very low percentage for most offenses. And I'm a defensive guy. If we're in the red zone 6 times and they only score twice, that's a win for us on that game. So you put them in there a 7th time, and they don't make it. That's the difference between winning and losing.
You feel me? Like, how can people really say that this was a boring game? Like, all aspects of the game, everybody did their job. It was a great offensive game. It was a great defensive game. Special teams included. Like, you see games where maybe the offense not doing so well, so it's a defensive game. Or maybe, like you said, it's a 50-point game, and, you scoring 59 points each. It's an offensive game. So, like, 25-22, that's a great game all around.
They don't know football, Manly.
You feel me? Nobody know football, bro. Like, this is a great game. This is a great stat line. 382, 455. 2 turnovers. You feel me? Like, come on now. Like, this is a good game.
High-level football.
Yes, bro.
High-level football.
I say the coaches, they coach both teams.
Man.
Coached a great game. Like, these coaches did a hell of a job. They showed
legendary
why they made it. Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone watching, you guys remember my last 2 episodes. That was one of my main points. I was saying, Kyle Shanahan, he's a great coach,
phenomenal,
great coach, but Andy Reid is going to be the difference of that game, and
their defense coordinator, the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, Shags.
Yeah,
that's his name, right? Yep.
He was the coordinator for the Giants when they beat Brady, undefeated team, right?
Yeah, man. He's a great DC.
Greatest big play caller, big game DC ever. Gotta be.
Yes, sir.
Defense wins championships, right?
Defense wins championships.
And did y'all know this was the 7th longest game in NFL history?
No, I didn't. We were due for an overtime Super Bowl, though. It's been a little while.
Not gonna lie though, I was thinking they was gonna go to another overtime. I'm not gonna lie, because they was because if you heard like Tony Romo, he kept saying he was like they're just trying to wind down the clock so they could go to another quarter. They know. I was like, I'm like, oh, they ain't got it. They ain't gonna win. That was a great chick play, bro.
How did you guys feel about I think that was the first game with the new overtime rules.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I like it.
You look back in the past. Look all the way back to when Tim Tebow was the starting quarterback at Denver. Mm-hmm. One play in and out. playoffs. One play against a great
Yeah.
team, the Steelers. Throws
Yeah.
a nice slant route, goes for a big touchdown, game's over. But you take away that opportunity for the team to show, hey, like we got a shot too. Like we want to win this as much as they do. Like, and now you get to see that. A great drive by San Francisco into a field goal, and then an opportunity for Pat Mahomes to go down there and score. So I just think it makes it more exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of people were kind of questioning Kyle's decision to actually receive the ball instead of deferring it. What did you guys think about that?
I mean, I think he was just trying to be aggressive. If you look at everything, I think San Fran's defense, as much, even though they, gave up the game-winning touchdown, I still believe that they had a great game. They were getting to Patrick Mahomes. They got 3 sacks on him. That's kind of rare because he's able to, be mobile, and he got a decent, D line. I know D line, O line. I know they had like a couple backups in there, but I just think he was just trying to be aggressive and trust his defense. That's a good coach, if you ask me. Took a chance.
Yeah, he was trying to get the score, put more pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just like to do all that, get to the red zone, get like to the 15 and not punch it in. I mean, it's a little deflating. I mean, you go to you give it to the Chiefs. It's too just the moment, it's just Mahomes.
Were there any guys from I'm gonna bring the stats back up for a second because I was mainly focused on the Chiefs last night. That was the team I predicted to win. But looking at it from the 49ers point of view, were there any players that kind of, besides George Kittle, he was only targeted 3 times, but were there any big time players that you just didn't see make enough noise for the 49ers?
I mean, there was that guy that got injured in the beginning of the game.
Dre Greenlaw.
Greenlaw, man,
great player. That it was, I mean, the guy that came in, he did make a touchdown saving deflection in the end zone at some point in the game. But I mean, Greenlaw, losing him in the beginning to a celebration, that's a killer right there. One of your top guys.
4 tackles the start of the game off bat. 4 tackles straight.
I mean, he had the energy for the team and everything.
Yeah,
he was giving the defense props and everything. So it was a hurtful thing that he had to go down because if you look at it, they started targeting him in the game. Like they started trying to put Kels on him. That's why they had to put Fred Warner. Like hit Travis Kelce. Because I ain't gonna lie, Fred Warner locked that boy up a couple times. If you seen it, he had that boy on lock. So it was a devastating loss for real. One person I think they doubted though, I'll be honest, was Chase Young going into the game. I feel like they thought he wasn't gonna have like a good game. I heard a couple people saying that they was gonna bench him, but he definitely.
I mean, he had a decent game.
Yeah.
I would say I would like them to see Ayuk be used a lot more. I mean, I know they want to get it to Debo, they want to run the ball, but Ayuk was killing them all game. Like, just down the middle. I mean, they got to get him involved more. They got to get Kittle involved more. But losing Trent Greenlaw, it just deflated their whole defense. Like, it gave them a weakness. They had no weakness, and then when he left, they had a weakness.
Yeah. That was definitely a big loss. Even the way that the injury occurred. Have you guys ever seen anything like that?
He wasn't even celebrating. He literally
was going on the field.
Boom, Achilles.
I'm glad that you asked that because I actually have seen an injury like that. It was an old wide receiver from Kentucky back in 2013. I'm not gonna put his name out there but I remember him scoring his first collegiate touchdown. And this was supposed to be a guy to come in. He was going to be a big game changer for them. And, South Florida native, like all of us. And he scores his first collegiate touchdown, jumps up in the air, celebrates, comes down, tears his ACL. And, it's not even his season. It was his whole career that was pretty much over. He just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So, to see a guy like Greenlaw go out there, celebrate with his team, like off a big play that just happened and hurt himself in the process, that's demoralizing to see. Not just as a teammate, but as a fan too. Like,
yeah.
No, that's hurtful. If you look at all season, there's been like a lot of Achilles injuries that we've seen. I think it was a player on the Miami Dolphins. He can't he kind of was in a similar position, and he didn't even
Yeah,
move. He
jumping
moved
off
off the
that.
ball, and he
Yeah.
just boom, Aaron
Boom, it
Rodgers,
blows.
boom,
You can see it. Yeah.
it's just crazy. You just gotta be blessed with the time that you have. I think a lot of times, I think I had coach once say you gotta play every play like it's your last because you just never know if you're gonna get hurt in that moment. So, that's why it's always important to me to just go ahead and pray before the game
Yeah.
because you want to pray for
Never know.
anything. You feel me?
Just so
you gotta really,
unfortunate, man.
yeah, you gotta be blessed with the time that you got because he still in the beginning of the game he gave them that energy and that spark. And
Yeah.
I feel like it maintained the defense, but just to see him go down, it definitely was a little mindset, thing with the defense. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, whether he was the vocal leader or just a guy who led by example, but the energy he came with last night, and even in a little bit amount of time that he played, like that guy, he was serious. You could tell he loves the game, loves his teammates.
Man.
It's real sad to see him go down last night.
Yeah, he meant business in that game,
he
boy. He
did.
meant business. He was all over the field. All over the field.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys probably noticed this, but I think another injury. I know it didn't even last long, but I mean Debo coming out for a while off that strained hamstring, or maybe it was a cramp. That was a big downside to that one drive. Losing a guy like Debo Samuel and then having him come back. I'm sure he wasn't 100% coming back. I mean, he did make some plays afterwards, but he didn't really look as good as he used to before that.
And that's funny you say that because actually I think my last episode on the stream I was talking to one of my viewers and I was saying Debo should have a big game, but he's still coming back off his injury, so things might be, he might not be the same. And just looking at the stat line right now, I didn't even notice this at first. Debo was targeted 11 times and only has 3 catches. That's very low production right there.
Yeah,
I think it's fortunate.
Yeah, I think that them trying to, because if you think if you've seen they keep trying to give him the ball a couple years ago, now that was a game changer. But I feel like now they know Debo's game. Everybody's you see Debo coming in motion, you dang near just gonna go. It's no hesitation. You're gonna read that pretty good. And I feel like a lot of teams are stopping the run because last week the Lions they stopped a lot of that going on. But going off of what Christian said, another injury that was crazy was George Kittle. He had went in the back for a little bit. I think he had a shoulder injury.
Yes.
And at that time, they had put in a young tight end, and
They had to hold it.
he had a holding call.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
he dropped the ball.
That was big.
Then they also had a holding call that was very big. I think that was was that in OT? I think.
No, it was the fourth. They were driving too.
It was right when Kittle came out of the locker room.
Oh yeah. So I think that was that was a big game change. They could have scored a touchdown to keep it from going to OT. So
that's just how you know. Just football is just it's just an all phase game. You have to just be so locked in, and you got your assignment and what you're doing. Because one little thing could mess everything up.
Everything. Yep. Alrighty, so now we're more than halfway through the stream, so let's get into our video breakdown.
Hold up, man. I got to shout out Jawan Jennings, bro. Jawan Jennings. I love to see when players, they don't get all the shine, they don't get all the limelight, but when they step in, they do their job, and they do their job at a high level. He's done it all season. He's done it his whole career. He had 22 out of his 22 catches this whole season. 17 of them have been for first downs or touchdowns.
Yeah.
And for him to just do that in the Super Bowl, I was proud. I love seeing guys like that. So shout out to Jawan Jennings, man.
I'm a defensive guy, so it's very rare when I shout out an offensive player. And I'm a Jets fan too, so to see this guy go to the Super Bowl and ball out kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But, you have to give credit where credit is due. And Mecole Hardman, I mean, come on. He had arguably, I think, the longest play of the night with that big-time catch.
Yep, 52,
and then the Super Bowl winning touchdown. I mean, granted, he blacked out catching it. But just to join a team midway, not even midway, towards the end of the season, and play such a big role in such a big game.
His former team too.
Yeah, his former
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
So, you got to give credit where credit is due. And Mecole Hardman, he balled out last night.
How do you guys think it is like for an NFL player? You start your year on the Jets, right? You're trying your best every game. Clearly your team isn't doing that well. And I mean, you get that call like midway or halfway when the season's almost over, like, hey man, you want a chance to play for the Chiefs and a chance to win the Super Bowl? Like, that has to be like the greatest turnaround ever, man. Honestly.
Don't get better than that.
Man, ain't it like, man, I don't know. That's a true blessing, bro. You can't really, you never know how the season gonna turn out. Like Brody,
They needed him though.
Yeah,
They
and you
needed
think
him.
about it, he started on a team too. Like they thought it was gonna go
far, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a question here from Miss D Lane. Did you guys like the halftime show?
Oh man, hey.
Hey, I'll be real though. The halftime show went crazy. Like I was at work and I was out here, cleaning up the fields and whatnot. And like it went crazy. I was like, okay, Usher, to hear some old tunes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But y'all see the way that boy was all touchy, all up on Alicia Keys. I was like,
No, I was like, no. Nah, when he took his shirt off, I'm like, nah, that boy killing it right now. I'm like, he doing the pop lock. I'm like, yeah, that boy, that's old Usher right there. He doing his thing. He did his thing.
Yeah. I enjoyed the show, man. I think it was a really good show. All right. Well, let's get into our video review. So we're going to be showing the entire overtime clip of the game, starting off with 3rd and 13. All righty. Christian, tell me what you see here.
So, Jay, you remember when this is a conversation that you and I had in the past. I told you it was going to come down to the front seven with this game. And it showed pretty much the whole game that the front seven was a big difference maker making plays. And as you can see here, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs pass rush, they force Brock Purdy to try to get the ball out early, and then they get a deflection on the ball. I mean, look at that. Holding call right there. You can't have that at all. But, I mean, you get some guys that are open, you get a good pass rush going, and it turns into an incomplete pass in that first play.
And truthfully, hold on, Gio, you muted.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
We have a question here from that guy. He must have not heard us earlier, but how do we feel about Patrick Mahomes' performance in the game?
A GOAT performance.
The young GOAT did it, man. It's crazy because earlier in the day, me and my friends, we was talking about how like Patrick Mahomes was on the verge of passing Tom Brady. Not yet, but he's there.
First 7 years.
You feel me? He's there. The boy's there. He been to 6 consecutive AFC championships. Come on now. Or like he's been there. Like, come on now.
That's a little bit of a touchy subject for me. I have a lot of respect for Mahomes. I really like Mahomes. Tom Brady is one of the greatest football players ever. So I just feel like this conversation, let's give it a few more years.
He's creeping. He's creeping.
He's getting there. He is getting there. He has half his Super Bowls.
He got beat by Mahomes, or he got beat by Tom Brady and
Burrow's the only quarterback. Yeah, that's the only quarterback he lost to in the playoffs. I mean, you look at the first 7 years of Brady and Mahomes' career. Mahomes has more Super Bowls. He has more Super Bowl appearances. He has his QBR is higher. His pass completions is higher. And then you look at his winning percentage is way higher. And that's first 7 years. Brady had 2, he got 3. Got more MVPs. And he's only 28. Ain't even hit 30.
The game of football is different now than how it was when Brady was coming up, all right?
I don't want to hear it.
I still got a lot of respect for Pat. he is the greatest quarterback currently playing, but I don't think he's on Brady's levels. Not yet.
He's
Three
not
of them.
not yet. He's creeping though, like
He's
Three
getting
Super
there.
Bowl
Yeah, man.
MVPs.
This man
Only,
went into the Super Bowl and threw for 333 yards. I mean,
bro.
how many
Super
quarterbacks
Bowls.
do you see doing that? I mean, I will admit, last Super Bowl he didn't. I don't think he went over 200 in the last Super Bowl.
No.
But I mean, this one he went 333. He really only had one bad drive with the ball, and that was with the interception. So, if he wants to prove to me that he's better than Tom Brady, he needs to do exactly what Tom Brady did. And at some point, he's gonna have to leave the Chiefs and show that it's him, not Andy Reid and his play calling. Because I'll put it like this: Andy Reid, and I think you guys can agree.
I don't wanna-
Andy Reid is one of the greatest offensive minds in the game right now.
Yes.
That
Yes,
man
but-
can
but
outcoach almost anybody out there. I mean, you saw him do it with the Eagles, and you're seeing him do it now with the Chiefs.
And the thing is, he
So-
keeps it simple. Like he don't change no game. Like, and that's one thing I think about coaches. Like, I feel like they try to do too much. Like, if you look at the Detroit Lions coach, he tried to he went on fourth down. Come on out, kick the field goal, make the game doable. Andy Reid, he plays smart, but he also plays aggressively smart. So I think, like you said, he's the greatest mind that you can see in the game right now.
That's true. And before we get into our next question, I do want to say I'm not a Chiefs fan by anything. I'm a Ravens fan, so I kind of don't like the Chiefs that much. But man, this year, just looking back at it, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, and they had a pretty rocky start. Like the beginning, middle of the year, like things weren't always, Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl. They ended up being 11-6. At the end of the year, which is kind of below their standards. But as we all know with Patrick, man, once he gets into the playoffs, and I also feel like the supporting cast around him wasn't as strong as it was in the few past years. So this Super Bowl win for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs is very impressive.
I mean, you look at it, they go to the Buffalo, beat Buffalo. They go to
Josh
Baltimore,
Allen,
beat Baltimore, Lamar
Jackson.
And then they go against one of the top defenses in the league, the 49ers, 333 yards. Like, you want to talk about just dominant? I mean, it's championship DNA. I mean, that defense has been together since the first championship. You got Trent McDuffie, All-Pro, first year All-Pro. Great game. You got Snead. Like, you could just see the pieces, the young pieces, of evolving into just superstars. And just as far as just like Andy Reid, a great play caller, great offensive coordinator, did great with the Eagles, but he didn't have Mahomes at the Eagles. That's why he never won a Super Bowl there. He has Mahomes. That's why he has Super Bowls. 3.
I mean, heck, he had Mike Vick with the Eagles.
Yeah, but he ain't winning.
Mike Vick is not Mahomes.
Mike Vick ain't Mahomes.
Mike Vick is not Mahomes.
He is not Mahomes. I will tell you that.
All right, we have a question here by Dre asking, how do we feel about the moment everyone realized the Chiefs had enough time to make a comeback? I'm gonna answer this one first. To me personally, Dre, like I said, Pat Mahomes, I've been doing my research on him for a while. I honestly never doubted him at no point in the game. That's my answer to you right there.
I mean, it was 10. What was it? 10-3 going into halftime.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it, that boy. Bro, they don't fold under pressure. I think the first Super Bowl, if y'all remember when they played the 49ers in the first Super Bowl against, I think the 49ers was up big on them in that Super Bowl. Like all it is like you said, it's Coach Andy Reid. Like he don't fold under pressure. Like a lot of coaches, I feel like they fold under pressure. And like it doesn't help the players because as players, we look to the coaches to be able to guide us to play the game. And once they give us the instructions to play the game, we just go out there and do what we can to be able to win that game. But I feel like you just got to have a good coaching staff to calm the players down to be able to, still believe, okay, we got this. But it was only 10-3, and it's Patrick Mahomes. That boy was going to do it.
Yep. And Drew, like they're so used to that. Like the last Super Bowls, they've trailed by 10 or more. The last Super Bowls, like they're used to that. You look at the Super Bowl run last year when they played Josh Allen, 23 seconds. Mahomes drives in 23 seconds and they score to go to overtime. Like You just can't doubt that man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, as an aspiring coach myself, when you're and the game was 10-3 in the half. I mean, it was still a 1-point game.
Yeah.
As a coach, you tell yourself, like, look, one play can change this whole game. Like, whether it's in the third, the first, second, third, or fourth quarter, heck, even overtime, like, one play changes the game, puts you back in there. I mean, in terms of the Chiefs having enough time to make a comeback, I mean, I don't think there was ever the game never got so far where the Chiefs had to make a comeback. They were always in the game from start to finish. And yeah.
Good. All right, we have another question by Dre too. This is for Christian and Manly right here. Manly, you can go ahead and answer that one first.
I mean, truthfully though, like the only reason why I was really rooting for the 49ers is because like I like an underdog story, and Brock Purdy was like an underdog to me. He was Mr. Irrelevant, and they said in think a stat line like he was probably the I forget what they said, but something about him being like the longest person in the draft to be, play in the Super Bowl since he was the last pick. So I was really rooting for him for that, but I don't really, I don't feel nothing. I'm a Las Vegas Raiders fan. I'm cool, and they played in our stadium, so I was cool about it.
Yeah. What about you, Christian?
I'm a Jets fan. I don't like the Chiefs to begin with. I don't like. Say what you want to say. I'm not a big fan of the whole Taylor Swift thing that's going on with the Chiefs. I think it's just getting away from football. So I guess that was part of the reason why I was rooting for the 49ers. Like Man said, I was also rooting for Brock Purdy. I love a good underdog, especially very last pick in the draft, making your chance to be a starting quarterback. And then on top of that, leading your team to a Super Bowl. I mean, come on. I mean, the only guy that's done anything similar to that is Tom Brady. And we know how that career went. And by all means, I'm not saying Brock Purdy is the next Tom Brady. But, sometimes being a game manager gets you far in this game. And it's showing with Brock Purdy and the way he manages the game. Doesn't do anything like trying to do anything big. He just gets the ball to his playmakers, and that's it. And I think that I like the fact that the 49ers, they created a team where they have playmakers all around, even on their O-line with Trent Williams being as good as he is, and just giving Brock Purdy, the last pick of the draft, all the weapons he needs to win, and then teaching him how to do it. That's real football. Pat Mahomes, he has Travis Kelce. He has Rashee Rice. And you look at other teams like the Lions, where you have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gibbs. It's Brock Purdy just has everybody. And I was really hoping that they would win with all those guys.
Yeah. But I still think, Brock, he had a good year, much better season than he did last season. Mm-hmm. Now, where would you guys rank Brock Purdy on your quarterback rankings? Is he top 5, top 10? What do you guys think?
He's top 10. I would say Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, you got to, and then after
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, we're putting Joe up there. Come on now. Joe do his thing.
Joe's a top 5 quarterback.
He's top 5.
I don't know.
He's not top
Joe
5.
had a down year this year. He wasn't the same, man.
He's not top 5.
He was hurt. He was hurt.
No,
yeah, he
before
was
he was hurt, he wasn't. He was.
Brock Purdy was hurt last season, and he still made the playoffs.
Joe Burrow plays in the best conference in the NFL.
Bro, no, he doesn't, bro.
And then you have to look
The
at
Browns
it. He
are
has
trash.
a terrible O-line, and he still went to the Super Bowl.
Bro, hold up. I'm going to pause, Ed.
We're talking about this year.
I know, but listen. For the AFC North, that's my conference. Like I said, the Ravens is my team. We had 3 teams make the playoffs out of the 4 teams. The only team to miss it was the Bengals, because Joe was hurt. So
Bro,
we are the best conference.
They were still close to making the
You know how
playoffs.
many garbage teams there were this year?
I'm just saying the AFC East to me is the toughest conference.
AFC East. I mean,
come on, man. You got the Miami Dolphins, the fastest team
Yes.
in the NFL with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Then you have the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. And then you say what you want about the Jets. That defense was rated number 1 this season. Number 1 in the NFL.
No, you have 2 teams in that conference, and it's the Dolphins and the Bills. The
Aaron
Patriots are
Rodgers doesn't
rebuilding.
get hurt, that is
The
a completely
Jets,
different team.
they need some help right now because is Rodgers still under contract?
He is.
So he's coming back next year, right?
He's coming
Yes,
back.
and
Yeah.
they need a backup quarterback to go with him because I'm sorry, Zach Wilson's not the answer. I didn't think he was the answer when they drafted him.
I never thought he was.
He's never the answer.
All right. Let's see. Ed just lost connection. Hopefully he'll come back in a second. But we got 10 more minutes. Yep, there we go. Right back. All right. So we got 10 more minutes. Let's get into this overtime review from the Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
All right. We're gonna try to
High level football.
Yep. All right. So the first play, as we know, was 3rd and 13. A flag occurred after that. We have 2nd and 6 play. The ball is about to be snapped. Jennings is in motion, and let's watch.
Excellent pass.
Great.
I mean,
I
that was a big
I
play.
thought he was going. I
Great
thought he was
play.
going.
Yeah, I thought he was about to score.
That was a big play right there.
You just see how like the motion, like a lot of fans and people don't understand that a lot of times teams
This
run
was a
these
hell of a
motions
catch,
to get the reads and looks that they're looking for on these plays.
Yep.
It determines if they're man coverage or zone coverage, and it could determine the whole play where the quarterback's going to go. That's why you see Brock Purdy get the ball out so fast to McCaffrey because he realizes that they're blitzing, off of that motion, and he wants to get it out quick.
Yep. Great insight right there.
I
I heard Mandy say that this play coming up was a great big catch. Let's watch it right here.
Yeah.
2nd and 12.
Now this is superstar Brock Purdy right there. That's not a game manager.
That's how you make a play. And then if you look at, come on now, the fullback, he's an all-pro fullback, first team. And then just to be able to be versatile, like you got to be a versatile football player.
And the fact that he's a fullback too is even crazy because let's be honest, like the fullback is a dying position at this point.
And he made that. Yeah, I think this was like a game changer right here. Like I wish.
Is there any chance that we can rewind this clip to the play before? Because you look at the play before that pass rush. Let's rewind the clip to the play before that field goal. I mean, this right here, this was a great defensive pass rush, a great defensive play. Because you look at the routes that were ran down here by the numbers in the boundary. Jennings is open. He catches that ball. It's as easy as turning and running.
Brandon Ayuk. Oh my gosh, Brandon Ayuk.
You got Ayuk open. Like, you got all these guys that are open, and that one guy that breaks it, disrupts it, and changes the whole game.
And it's Chris Jones, all pro.
Yep. Now, how, as an offensive lineman, offensive coordinator, 3rd and 4, the game is right here. You don't block the best person on defense.
I think it was dumb. I think it was dumb to go. What do they call this formation? I think it was dumb to just empty. Yeah, go to an empty set. Like I feel like if Christian McCaffrey was right there, even though Chris Jones, that boy big, he could have at least gave him a second. Because if you look at Brandon Ayuk, he was open in a second.
Just wrecked the whole play.
Look at Brandon Ayuk, open in the back of the end zone. Could have changed the game.
Yep.
I mean, heck, even if you keep Kittle in there as a blocker, I mean that's better than having McCaffrey there as a blocker. I'd keep McCaffrey on a route, let Kittle block. He wasn't doing anything in the game anyways, and at least let him block, which is what he was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Purdy's face looks like, dang, I'm about to give Mahomes the ball.
Yeah, this very next play, I sat in my room and I rewinded this. I really loved how Andy Reid isolated Nick Bosa on this play and got the big run with Pat Mahomes. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, this play. Yes. Listen.
Yeah.
Like, this was an easy 1-2 read. Like, Nick Bosa, bam. All right, guy, who was it? Kelsey. Kelsey's in covered. Bam. Wide open run for Pat Mahomes.
Go get it. I mean, if you're going to put it in anybody's hands, 4th and 1, OT to win the Super Bowl, I mean, you got to keep it in Mahomes' hands.
Yeah.
leave it in the hands of your best player. This was the play of the game, if you ask me. 4th down and 1.
And
And you
man,
and you want to know what's crazy? Like this play is kind of like the play that it's similar to the play they ran on the goal line. Like
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they were in the box. I don't know what he was doing right here. Not gonna lie, he got me upset. I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm like, yeah, they go down. Like you got the yards, go down,
Yeah.
bro.
But the play before that with Kelsey in motion, it really set up that goal line, the game-winning touchdown, because you could just see how confused their defense was.
I mean, even this play that was right here with Pat Mahomes getting all that pressure on him. I mean, that's
I
a
was
great
gonna
play in
say.
itself. He sees the pressure. He sees the Rashee Rice coming across wide open. Give it to him. The guy's fast.
Ran it all year. Ran this play all year.
You know, this is something that's ran from the high school level all the way up to college, and then you see it here in the Super Bowl. Just a quick dump off goes for a big first down and then some.
All right, so in Mount football, we call this a bunch formation, and it's near. So we got 3 receivers bunch left, all in a near compact area. The 49ers have 7 men on the line of scrimmage and 4 DBs right now.
Did they not think Mahomes is gonna like a rookie quarterback and he's not gonna
Man,
read this out?
I'm not sure if they blitzed all 7, but just the way it looks right now, that's crazy.
And then look at this. Like, why are y'all playing so? Like, I understand not to play too aggressive, but I think they really lost this game because if you look at how the DBs was playing so far back, and they just was not coming up. Like, I understand you don't want to get beat deep, but I think the difference between what the Chiefs and the 49ers was doing, the Chiefs was playing man-to-man and they was locking up.
Yeah.
Regardless if they were like holding, they still gave themselves a chance. Okay.
You got to take a risk.
Yeah, like you play man. Y'all trying to play zone in OT against Patrick Mahomes. He's going to cook y'all crazy. Like they have the players.
And, football is a mental battle. I'm telling you, when Patrick Mahomes winded up and threw that 50 to 60-yard pass down the field, those DBs all told themselves, we can't let that happen again.
Yeah.
So now they're playing soft.
Yep.
And this allows you to nickel and dime them down the field.
I'm not going to lie. When I saw this formation before the ball was snapped, in the defensive world, we got different names for this. You call it Exxon, you call it Pony, you call it Mug, you call it whatever you want. But the way that what I would have called was I would not have called the pressure on you. Pat Mahomes is not a rookie quarterback. He knows that when he gets the ball and he sees pressure, he already knows what's going to be open. What I would have done here is I would have ran the same formation, and I would have let the guys who've been eating all game eat. All my D linemen, they are deadly pass rush. There was no need to blitz them on this play. You drop everybody into coverage. That ball to Rashee Rice, like that doesn't happen. And even if it does happen, it's not going more than 3 yards.
Yep.
They blitzed everyone. They blitzed all that 7 gone. So you have 4 men in coverage.
Wide open.
So it looks like they're playing man from 10 yards away.
No, they are. They're definitely playing man.
I ain't gonna lie. Number two's re-step was so like. Why did he like? How couldn't he catch up? It wasn't like
he knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming.
Even the crosser was coming at him. He did not have to go around him. If he would have just went straight, like I don't know, they just was not playing good. Like
this was a great play call.
I'm not gonna lie. Fred Warner made an amazing tackle here. I mean, you see it in the replay.
This really was a first down though.
The way he gets out of the pick route and makes that tackle, like that's a touchdown saving tackle right there.
Yeah.
Yep. 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 there, man. And Mahomes torches him up the middle.
Mahomes, baby.
Can't let him do that. I mean, heck, even the Chiefs were leaving a spy on Brock Purdy. I don't know why the 49ers wouldn't spy Pat Mahomes in this situation.
Let's see the formation. We got trips left. Travis Kelce, right?
Look how far they are playing so deep, bro.
So deep. On 3rd and 1.
So deep.
Like the
3rd and 1
is like 20, dang near 20 yards.
3rd and 1, why you playing so deep?
Their first steps, they're flying out of there.
Mahomes knows he's about to take off. He knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it.
They still playing
7.
deep.
This was
Big
a great
play.
call. This
Yeah.
is
Great
a
play right
Chiefs
here.
special right here. This is
Yeah,
a
I thought
Chiefs
this was gonna
special.
end it.
Yes.
You know, the way Travis was getting through there. I'm gonna replay this play because we all know what happens after this one, but I like this play right here. Tunnel screen for
This is a
Travis.
Chiefs special right here, man.
Look at the way Pat Mahomes sold that wheel route. I mean, just look at that. Like you literally see him aiming at the wheel, and then last minute just diverts it to Kelsey. Like how many quarterbacks do you know
And
that
Kelsey
can
does
do
a great
that?
job. Just
Look what the Chiefs do.
holding that.
Take away the 49ers' best defensive rusher. Watch what Kelsey does. This is Bosa right here.
Give him a little tip.
Chip him, let
Sells
him
it.
go,
Boom.
and gone.
Kills him. Sells it.
You know, I mean, they did it though. They done it to him this whole drive. They isolated Nick Bosa. They knew that they cannot get outside of him. They cannot beat him. So the only way to even get a chance at beating him is by isolating him. That's what you do against good DX. You put him in a situation where what's that?
Pause this on the motion.
All right.
But you put him in a situation where he has to make a decision, and then you make a play off that decision. It's great play call.
All right, I'm gonna let Ed give his dissection of this last play right here.
Okay, so right here, go back. Now, similar to the play they ran earlier with Kelsey, they do the same. They do the same thing. They give him the same look. So with this motion, you could see that Ward at the top right of the screen, the corner. They're in zone. So what that means is their responsibilities have to switch. So they think he's motioning across when he's really not. So when he breaks back out, his responsibility switches to Kelsey. Nobody picks it up and leaves McCole Hardman wide open. And that's just goes to show just how much the game has changed and how much affection that motions have on a defense, how much it can affect the defense.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid draws up a great play, and Super Bowl champs, three back to back.
Wow, that was great right there.
They couldn't wait to show that.
What?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. It's cool. The love story cool and everything. But bruh, look, they was so horny to show the whole like the love story, like them hugging and everything. That's good. Like he got a woman that support him and everything, and I truly genuinely think that she supports him wholeheartedly. She probably never really watched football crazy, but they couldn't wait. They was following him around.
Did you just say Taylor Swift's dad is a coach?
Yeah, her dad is a coach, and her dad actually knows Andy Reid. They're close.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Andy Reid knew her before them and all that.
She had tickets before.
Yeah. She her dad's been involved in football, which is crazy.
That Taylor Swift whole thing. I don't know if you guys know, but that was actually a deal. Taylor Swift and the NFL had a deal, which is why you see her so much on the TV. Yeah.
Man, it's not football. I don't care for it.
They really didn't even show her that much, like after the game. You know, a lot of people.
Man,
were like,
they had
they didn't really.
They had like one little.
I thought she was gonna be on the podium with Kelsey, but she didn't. She wasn't.
I thought she was too. I'm like, oh.
I was okay with that.
All righty, guys. Well, that concludes another episode of Everything Football. I had really fun this stream with my guys, Jaden Manley, Edwin Reed, and Christian Gomez, and hopefully I can get them back on for our next episode. Next episode will be streaming live Friday at 11 a.m. So thank you guys for watching, and please tune in later.
Make sure y'all have a blessed day.
Sir.